The chamber of the Galactic Council stretched across a hall larger than mountains, its ceiling shining with artificial stars. Delegates from hundreds of worlds sat in tall seats that floated in the air, each seat glowing in the color of its species. The council had lasted for thousands of years. It was the keeper of law and order in the galaxy, the power that settled disputes, and the shield that kept civilizations in line. No world dared to rise against it. That was true until now. On the center platform stood a tall figure with silver skin, known as Archon, the Speaker of the Council. His voice echoed through the chamber. A new power has risen on the small blue world called Earth. These humans have broken every boundary we set. They have created warships powered by a strange force, the essence they call dark matter. None among us fully understand this energy. Yet they use it as if it were theirs alone. We cannot ignore them. Murmurs filled the chamber. A creature with scaled arms raised its voice. Humans are young. They were not spacefaring only a few centuries ago. How could they challenge the council? Archon turned his silver eyes toward the delegate. That is what makes them dangerous. They learn too quickly. Their ships are not like ours. Their weapons bend space. Their engines move as if time itself obeys their command. Even a small number of their warships could wound our fleets. From the far side of the chamber, a voice hissed. It came from Vetra, the leader of the Trine, one of the oldest species. We gave them knowledge. We allowed them entry to the trade routes. We thought them harmless. Now they rise with a power none of us share. If we do nothing, they will grow stronger. Some delegates disagreed. A feathered being from the Oran spoke with calm words. Humans are not like the old enemies we once faced. They are builders and explorers. Perhaps we should speak to them, not threaten them. They may seek partnership. A ripple of laughter spread through the chamber, though some did not join it. Archon raised his hand for silence. The council does not fear small nations. We have survived greater threats. But dark matter is not a technology that should belong to one species. If they use it unchecked, the balance of the galaxy will shatter. No fleet will match theirs. No law will bind them. The delegates began to argue. Some demanded war. Some spoke of diplomacy. Others whispered of fear, a fear none of them wished to admit. Humanity was different. They had no ancient empire behind them, no guiding hand, no council to teach them. They built their own path. Every time they were told something could not be done, they did it anyway. Archon raised his voice again. I have seen the reports. A human fleet of only 3 ships defeated a pirate armada near the rim. The pirates had 50 vessels. The humans lost none. Their weapons tore through shields as if they were nothing. Their ships vanished from sensors and reappeared at deadly range. This is no rumor. This is truth. A heavy silence fell over the chamber. Even the most confident delegates now shifted uneasily in their seats. At last, Vetra of the Trine spoke again. Then the course is clear. We cannot allow them to grow unchecked. We must act before their fleet becomes unstoppable. Strike now, and the council remains master of the stars. Delay, and we risk our fall. Others nodded. A few still argued, but their voices grew faint against the storm building in the hall. The majority leaned toward action. The council would not wait for Earth to rise higher. Far below the floating seats, recorders captured every word, every gesture. History was being written. The decision they made here would shape the galaxy. The chamber's light dimmed as the speaker declared, the council will prepare a fleet. We will confront Earth. They will surrender their dark matter ships or be destroyed. Gasps filled the air. For the first time in generations, the council had named a single world as a direct threat. In that moment, far across the void of space, humanity knew nothing of the storm about to come. On Earth, life continued as normal. Cities glowed at night. Children played beneath blue skies. Leaders planned for tomorrow with quiet determination. They had prepared for many years in silence, building ships in hidden yards, testing weapons in secret places beyond the reach of alien eyes. Humanity had seen the Council's power and knew one day it would be challenged. The Council believed humans were reckless. Yet humanity was patient. They were not loud. They were not careless. They built in shadows and waited for the right time. As the council chamber emptied, delegates whispered to one another. Some feared Earth. Some envied it. A few wondered if they had just made a mistake. The speaker stood alone, staring at the stars painted on the ceiling. His voice was soft but firm. The humans must be stopped. If not, the galaxy will never belong to us again. Thus began the first step toward war. Far beyond the solar system, Earth was quiet. The cities shimmered under the sun, satellites traced invisible paths in the sky, and people went about their lives with little thought of the vast galaxy beyond. Yet below this calm, humanity was preparing in ways no alien had imagined. Deep in orbit, hidden within the shadow of the moon, enormous shipyards floated silently. They were built from materials unknown to the Galactic Council, reinforced with alloys that could withstand the strongest energy blasts. Inside, engineers moved with precision, assembling ships larger than mountains. Each vessel was powered by dark matter cores, a force humans had discovered and controlled through centuries of study. Commander Nile walked through the shipyard, his boots echoing against the metal floor. His eyes were sharp, scanning every part of the vessel. "Check the stabilization field," he ordered. "We cannot afford errors." "Not now." A young technician named Mara nodded. "All systems are online. Core integrity is at 99%. The phase engines are ready." Nile's lips pressed into a thin line. He knew 99% was not enough. He trusted Mara, but they had to be perfect. These ships were humanity's future, the first true defense against the power of the Galactic Council. In the command tower, holographic displays showed simulations of alien fleets. Human scientists studied them carefully. Every species had a pattern, a weakness, a predictable response. The Council thought humans would follow rules. Humans had their own rules. Ships could vanish from sensors, strike from unexpected directions, and move faster than alien weapons could track. In the central chamber of the shipyard, the leaders gathered. President Aller stood tall. His hair was silver at the edges, his eyes steady. "We do not seek war," he said. "We do not wish to destroy. But if the Council comes to enslave us, we cannot surrender. They must understand that humanity cannot be stopped by threats or fear. They must learn respect." Nile nodded. "The fleet is ready. The crews are trained. We only await the signal." Aller's gaze swept the room. "Remember, every human on these ships carries not only weapons but the knowledge of our people. Science, art, courage, and patience. The Council will see more than firepower. They will see the spirit of Earth itself." As the leaders spoke, ship crews moved with quiet urgency. Every human on board had trained for years in zero-gravity drills, emergency maneuvers, and combat simulations. They learned to think like the enemy, anticipate attacks, and adapt faster than any machine. The Council assumed humans relied only on technology, but humans had something no machine could replicate: imagination and courage under pressure. Outside the orbiting shipyards, dark matter warships glided silently. They were vast, sleek, and black as space itself. Stars reflected on their hulls, making them almost invisible against the darkness. They did not roar like alien fleets. They moved like shadows, patient and deadly. In the training simulators, Mara and her team practiced phase jumps. The simulator room vibrated as the holographic stars shifted. "Remember," Nile instructed, "timing is everything. Move too early or too late, and the attack fails. We strike only when the enemy is unprepared." Hours turned into days. Days turned into weeks. Yet on Earth's surface, life seemed ordinary. Children played in parks, farmers tended fields, and cities thrived under human ingenuity. No one outside the orbiting shipyard suspected the power being forged above them. One night, Aller walked alone on the observation deck, staring at the stars. He felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. "We are small," he whispered, "but our spirit is strong. We may face the greatest fleet in history, yet we will not falter." Behind him, Niall entered silently. "Sir, reconnaissance shows alien patrols are moving closer. They suspect something. They do not know what we have built, but they sense change." Aller nodded. "Let them sense. Let them fear. But let them never know the full strength of humanity until it is too late." The preparation was not only in the machines or the strategy but in the minds of those who would defend Earth. They studied the psychology of alien species, learned to anticipate patterns, and trained to innovate in every situation. They knew that victory would not come from following orders blindly but from thinking, adapting, and acting with courage. As the orbiting warships completed their final tests, a strange calm filled the shipyards. Humans worked quietly, without fanfare or arrogance. Their focus was absolute. They were ready. Not for glory, not for conquest, but for survival and the protection of their home. Far away, in the darkness of space, the Galactic Council watched their monitors. Reports of human activity were sparse and confusing. Ships appeared in places where they should not exist. Energy signatures defied known physics. The Council did not yet know that humanity had already prepared its greatest weapon, ready to defend Earth with the mysterious force of dark matter. The silence before the storm hung over the stars. And humanity waited, patient, disciplined, and ready to show the galaxy what it meant to be Earth's children. The silence of space was broken by the distant hum of alien engines. The Galactic Council had sent a patrol fleet to Earth's sector. They believed it was only a demonstration, a warning to keep humanity in line. Their ships were vast and heavily armed, glinting with blue shields and rows of energy cannons. Commander Niall stood on the bridge of the lead human ship, Aegis, his eyes scanning the view screen. "They have underestimated us," he said quietly. His voice carried confidence, not arrogance. Mara, beside him, studied the incoming fleet's formation. "They outnumber us 20 to 1. Their weapons could destroy us easily." Niall shook his head. "They think in numbers. They do not understand humans. They do not know our warships can move in ways no sensors can follow. They do not know the power we control." The Aegis glided forward silently. Its hull absorbed light, making it almost invisible against the backdrop of stars. Two other human warships, Vigil and Sentinel, mirrored its movements. Together, the three vessels formed a shadowy triangle in space, waiting for the right moment. The alien fleet drew closer. Its admirals laughed at the small human force. "3 ships against hundreds," one of them said. "They will surrender before we even fire." But humans do not surrender. When the Council's fleet reached attack range, the first energy cannons fired. Beams of blue light sliced through the void. The human ships were ready. The Aegis phased, disappearing from sensors. Within seconds, it reappeared behind a massive cruiser, its weapons aligned perfectly. A single shot from the dark matter cannon tore through the alien shields, and the cruiser disintegrated into fragments. Shock rippled through the alien ranks. "Impossible," one admiral shouted. "How can they move like that?" The Vigil and Sentinel struck next, weaving through enemy fire. Their weapons were precise, hitting only critical points on the enemy vessels. Hulls that were thought invincible melted under dark matter energy. The Council's fleet had never faced an opponent like this. On the Aegis bridge, Niall's hands moved swiftly across controls. "Keep moving. Stay unpredictable. Do not let them target us in patterns." Mara nodded. Phase engines at maximum. Weapons locked on the remaining cruisers. The battle became chaos for the Council. Their fleet was powerful, but they were trained to fight in formations and patterns. Humans broke every expectation. Ships vanished and struck from angles no alien could predict. Shields were bypassed. Engines were disabled. Command ships fell first, leaving the rest of the fleet in confusion. Meanwhile, on the Council's monitoring station, Arkan watched with growing disbelief. They are not just fast. They think differently. They do not follow logic we understand. Every strike is calculated, yet unpredictable. This is no ordinary species. In the midst of the fight, Mara noticed an alien frigate attempting to flank them. "Commander, they are trying to surround us." Niall smiled faintly. "Let them try. They will fall into the trap." The three human warships maneuvered in perfect coordination. As the frigate closed in, the Aegis phased again and fired a concentrated blast of dark matter energy. The frigate was obliterated. Alien ships nearby panicked, breaking formation. The human fleet took full advantage, moving like shadows, striking where the enemy was weakest. The battle lasted only a few hours, but for the Galactic Council, it felt like an eternity. When the last cruiser fell, silence returned to the sector. The human warships hovered among the wreckage, their dark hulls gleaming with the reflected light of destroyed ships. On the Aegis bridge, Niall exhaled slowly. "We did what we came to do. Now the galaxy knows we are not weak." Mara studied the remains of the Council fleet. "They will not forget this. They may return with more forces, stronger weapons, but we are ready." The news of the battle spread quickly through Council channels. Worlds that once obeyed the Council quietly questioned their leaders. Whispers of fear and admiration for humanity grew. Few species had ever witnessed such skill and power from so small a force. Arkan faced the Council. "We underestimated them. These humans are not to be ignored. They do not fight like anyone we have known. They have turned our greatest strength into weakness. We must reconsider our plans." But even as the Council deliberated, humanity did not celebrate. On the Aegis, Niall gathered his crew. Victory is not just about destroying ships. It is about protecting Earth and showing the galaxy that we can defend ourselves. "We have sent a message, but the war may not be over." Mara nodded. "They will return. We should be ready for anything." Niall's eyes were steady. "Then we will be ready. Humans do not retreat. We adapt. We survive. And we will show every star in the galaxy that Earth cannot be conquered." As the human ships disappeared into the dark reaches of space, the Council fleet was left in ruin. Smoke and debris floated silently among the stars, a testament to the first real encounter between humanity and the Galactic Council. The first battle was won, but both sides knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy had changed, and Earth had announced its arrival in a way no one could ignore. Humanity's silent power had spoken, and the stars themselves seemed to tremble at what had been unleashed. The Orion trade nexus was the heart of interstellar commerce. Thousands of ships passed through its lanes every day, carrying goods, technology, and knowledge. The Galactic Council had fortified it for centuries, surrounding it with energy shields, orbital defenses, and fleets trained for rapid response. They believed no enemy could break through. Commander Niall studied the holographic map on the Aegis bridge. "The Council believes Orion is safe. They will bring their strongest fleet here," he said. His hands moved quickly, adjusting coordinates and scanning patterns. Mara leaned beside him. "Their fleet is massive. Hundreds of ships, all armed and ready. If we face them head-on, we may not survive." Niall shook his head. "We do not fight like them. We will use strategy, not numbers. We will strike where they least expect. Orion may be their fortress, but it is also a trap for those who cannot think beyond formation." The three human warships moved silently toward the Nexus, hidden by a shadow cloud generated by dark matter engines. Sensors in the Council fleet struggled to detect them. Every human ship was a ghost, invisible to the eyes of the strongest species in the galaxy. At the same time, the Council fleet approached the Nexus, confident and unshakable. Admiral Vortis, a seasoned tactician, addressed his fleet. The humans are clever, but they are few. Their small numbers cannot withstand our power. They will fall before Orion, and their home world will remain nothing but a memory. Vortis smiled, but that confidence would soon crumble. As the Council fleet reached Orion's outer defenses, the human warships struck. The Aegis phased, appearing within the heart of the formation. Dark matter cannons fired precise bursts, cutting through shields and disabling engines. Council ships that had once been untouchable now drifted, powerless. Mara guided the Vigil in a synchronized attack. Hit their energy nodes, not the hulls. Disable, do not destroy. We want them stunned, not broken completely. The Sentinel moved to flank the Council flagship. Niall's plan was simple but brilliant. We confuse them. Make them think the attack is from everywhere. Make them doubt their own sensors. Humans fight in ways no one else can anticipate. The battle erupted. Energy beams streaked across space. Explosions lit the void with green and blue fire. Council ships fired relentlessly, but their targets were gone before the weapons could reach them. Every strike from the human fleet hit precisely, disabling key ships while leaving the rest intact. From the Council command station, Arkan watched in disbelief. They are not just fast. They are clever. They are unpredictable. How can so few strike so perfectly? Orion's defenses, thought to be invincible, now became part of the trap. Human ships maneuvered inside the outer shield perimeter, using dark matter energy to phase through barriers. Council ships, overconfident, followed them into dangerous zones. Mines, energy traps, and gravitational distortions awaited, all designed by human engineers. Mara guided the Vigil through one of the traps. They think they control Orion. They do not. Every corner they take, every move they make, is part of our plan. Niall observed the Council flagship struggling to maintain formation. Now, he said. Phase in full sequence. Focus fire on their engines. Make them lose control. The human ships struck as one. Council vessels faltered, collisions occurred, and confusion spread like wildfire. Pilots who were trained for decades could not predict where the human warships would appear next. Within hours, the Council fleet's formation was broken. Ships drifted in random orbits, their weapons useless, their crews panicked. On the Aegis bridge, Niall allowed himself a small nod. Orion is ours, he said quietly. Not conquered, but defended. The Council cannot hold what they do not understand. Mara looked at the remains of the battle. The galaxy will see what humans can do. Orion is just the beginning. The Council underestimated us again. Meanwhile, in the Council chambers far from Orion, debates raged. We have the numbers, Vortis argued. We have the firepower. How can they continue to resist? Arkan shook his head. They fight differently. They use thinking, speed, and courage. Numbers mean nothing when the enemy can disappear, strike, and vanish before you react. We are learning too late. Despite their shock, the Council could not immediately retreat. Ships that survived were damaged and scattered. Trade lanes were disrupted. Orion, once considered safe, now belonged to a force no one had fully anticipated. Above the battle, human warships regrouped. They had achieved their mission, and they had done so without unnecessary destruction. Orion remained intact, a symbol of human strategy and precision. Humanity had shown that power was not only in numbers or weapons but in intelligence, courage, and unity. Niall spoke to his crew. Today we defended Orion. Tomorrow, we protect Earth. Every move we make shows the galaxy what it means to face humans in battle. Remember this. Humans do not fear. Humans adapt. Humans endure. Mara smiled. And they will remember this day. Orion will never be forgotten. The stars above shimmered as human warships faded into the darkness. The Battle of Orion's Gate had ended, but the war for the galaxy was only beginning. The galaxy was changing. News of the Battle of Orion's Gate traveled faster than any council message. Worlds that had once obeyed the Galactic Council now whispered among themselves. Some admired humanity. Others feared them. The Council, once seen as invincible, now appeared vulnerable. On Earth, Commander Nile watched reports from Allied systems. The Council is not defeated, he said, his tone calm. They will recover and strike again. But the tide is shifting in our favor. More species are questioning their authority. We may not fight alone for long. Mara, sitting beside him, nodded. We have shown them what humans can do. But if they bring a larger fleet, we need to be ready. In distant star systems, alien worlds sent secret messages to Earth. Traders, scientists, and diplomats approached humanity quietly. Some offered intelligence about the Council's movements. Others shared technologies or resources. No one dared act openly, but many wanted to stand with the humans. They sensed a power that could not be ignored. Meanwhile, the Council scrambled. Archon called an emergency session. We underestimated humans. Their fleet is small, but their strategy is unlike anything we have seen. We must adapt, or risk losing control of the galaxy. Admiral Vortis argued fiercely. We still have numbers. We still have weapons. We can overwhelm them. We must strike with everything we have. Archon shook his head. More ships alone will not win. Humans do not fight like us. They exploit every weakness, and they learn fast. We must think differently. Back on Earth, the humans prepared quietly. Shipyards orbited the planet, building new vessels. Pilots trained in zero gravity, mastering tactics to outmaneuver far larger fleets. Scientists refined dark matter cores, increasing efficiency and precision. Humanity's strength was not only in the ships but in its people, their intelligence, courage, and patience. Nile walked through the command center, observing the activity. We do not need to strike first, he said. We wait. We prepare. When they make a mistake, we act. Every battle is ours to win if we remain calm and clever. Mara looked up from her station. The Council may test us. Small fleets, scouts, spies. They will probe for weaknesses. We must be ready for anything. As the days passed, small encounters began. Alien patrols approached Earth systems, only to be repelled by the precision of human tactics. Ships disappeared from sensors and reappeared at critical positions. Weapons fired with exact timing. Every engagement reinforced the growing legend of humanity's power. In council chambers, fear and doubt spread. We cannot hold the outer sectors, one delegate said. The humans are unstoppable when they choose to fight. We may be losing allies as well. Systems that once obeyed us are now in doubt. Archon's voice was steady but heavy. The galaxy is watching. Humans have proven that courage and intelligence can overcome numbers. This is not just a battle of ships. This is a battle of will. We must adapt or face defeat on a scale we cannot imagine. On Earth, Nile addressed his crews. The Council believes they are masters of the galaxy. They are learning that humans think differently. Today, we defended Orion. Tomorrow, we will defend more. The tide is turning because we are united, patient, and clever. Never forget this. Every move we make sends a message, Earth will not be conquered. Mara added, and the galaxy sees it. We are not alone. Allies are watching. Some may even join us when the moment is right. Courage spreads faster than weapons. The humans were not arrogant. They knew the council would return with stronger fleets and new strategies. But they also knew something the council could not understand. Humans could adapt instantly, create solutions under pressure, and act in ways no machine could predict. That was their true strength. Reports from the outer sectors confirmed this. Small systems, once loyal to the council, now refused to send forces against humanity. Traders began offering supplies to Earth secretly. Scientists shared discoveries that would strengthen human fleets. The tide was not only turning in battles but in the hearts of those across the galaxy. In the shadows of distant stars, Nile and Mara watched the horizon. "They will not expect our next move," Nile said. "We have the advantage of surprise, of patience, of clarity. The Council may control fleets, but humans control destiny." Mara smiled. "And destiny favors those who prepare, adapt, and endure. The galaxy is waking up to a new era, and Earth will lead it." Even the Council could sense it. Worlds once obedient now questioned orders. Fear replaced confidence. The legend of humanity was spreading faster than any fleet. Arkan realized that the battle was no longer just about ships or weapons. It was about influence, courage, and the determination to shape the future. The turning tide had arrived. Humanity, small in number but vast in courage and intelligence, was rising. The galaxy had begun to change, and the Council could no longer ignore the truth. Humans were no ordinary species. They were a force unlike any the stars had ever seen, and their time was coming. The Council's fortress world, Varion, floated in the center of the outer sectors, surrounded by rings of massive energy shields and fleets of the most powerful ships the galaxy had ever seen. For centuries, it had been the heart of the Galactic Council's authority, a symbol of power that none dared challenge. Now, it faced humanity. Commander Nile studied the star maps on the bridge of the Aegis. "Varion is heavily defended, but defenses are built for predictable attacks," he said. His fingers traced possible paths through the fortress rings. "We do not attack like others. We strike where they least expect." Mara stood beside him, eyes sharp. "Their sensors are strong, their weapons deadly. One mistake, and the fleet could be destroyed." Nile nodded. "Then we make no mistakes. We have patience. We have speed. We have strategy. That is more powerful than any weapon." The human fleet moved in silence, their dark matter engines absorbing light and bending space around them. They approached the fortress world with a calm that contrasted the tension of the Council commanders. Ships seemed invisible, passing through sectors without warning. Inside Varion, Admiral Vortis prepared his forces. "They may have surprised us before, but this is our home. We will crush them." Energy cannons glowed, shields hummed, and fleets took position, waiting to strike. Confidence filled the fortress, but it would soon turn to fear. Nile gave the command. Phase sequence initiated. "Target weak points in the outer defenses first. We move fast and precise. Focus only on what disables them. Avoid destruction we do not need." The human ships phased through outer patrols, appearing directly inside firing arcs, and disabling energy generators before the Council even realized what had happened. Aegis, Vigil, and Sentinel moved in perfect synchronization, striking in patterns the enemy could not predict. Ships that were thought invincible faltered and drifted powerless. Mara guided the Vigil to the primary shield generator. "Engage at maximum output. We need it down to proceed." The dark matter cannon fired. Energy rippled across the shields. Cracks appeared, widening with each precise blast. Within minutes, the outer defenses were compromised. The Council fleet responded with full force, but human ships vanished and reappeared at critical locations, destroying weapons systems and control hubs. Inside the fortress, panic spread. Delegates and admirals shouted orders that came too late. Vortis' confidence crumbled as his fleet fell into traps, hidden mines, and energy distortions designed by human engineers. Every strike by humans was calculated. Every move exploited a weakness the Council had not anticipated. Niall watched the flagship of the Council falter. "Now," he said. "Focus fire on command nodes. And their control." The Sentinel fired a concentrated burst of dark matter energy at the fortress core. Energy shields flickered and failed. Systems overloaded, and alarms rang throughout Varion. The Council's communication lines broke. The fortress was losing control of its own defenses. From the observation deck of Aegis, Mara watched explosions ripple across the fortress surface. "They cannot recover," she said softly. "Every system they rely on is being neutralized." Niall's voice was calm but firm. "We give them a chance to surrender. We do not destroy without reason. We strike to defend, not to dominate." The Council leaders, trapped inside their fortress, had no choice. Arkan sent a message: "We surrender the fortress. Humanity has proven its power. We seek terms to prevent further loss." Niall nodded. "Prepare boarding teams. Secure the fortress, but treat the people with care. We are not conquerors. We are guardians of a new order." The human fleet entered the inner orbit. Ships glided past disabled weapons and broken fleets. Boarding teams moved to secure key areas, and engineers stabilized critical systems. The fortress, once untouchable, now belonged to humanity, but it remained intact and functional. On the bridge of the captured fortress, Niall addressed the Council leaders. "Your fleets and weapons have been neutralized. You will not face destruction, but the galaxy must know the truth. Humanity cannot be challenged by fear alone. Power is not in numbers. Power is in courage, intelligence, and unity." Arkan bowed his head. "We understand. Humanity is stronger than we realized. We will comply." The news of Varion's fall spread instantly across the galaxy. Systems that had remained loyal to the Council began to question their obedience. Traders, scientists, and diplomats reached out to Earth openly. The legend of humanity's dark matter fleet grew with every star system that heard the story. Above all, Niall and Mara knew that the fall of the fortress was not the end of the journey. It was a demonstration of humanity's potential, a clear message to the galaxy that Earth would defend itself and its ideals. The Council had ruled through fear for centuries, but fear alone could not withstand courage, intelligence, and preparation. Humanity had changed the balance of power. The fortress had fallen, but a new era had begun. As the human fleet departed Varion, the stars seemed to shine differently. Humanity had not only defeated the greatest power in the galaxy but had also shown the universe that courage and ingenuity could reshape history. Niall spoke to his crew. "Today, we did more than win a battle. We proved that humans can face any challenge, overcome any enemy, and protect what we value. Remember this. Every star, every world, every being in this galaxy has seen our strength. We are ready for whatever comes next." Mara nodded. "The fortress is only the beginning. The Council may recover, but the galaxy will remember Earth forever. We have turned the tide completely." Humanity's dark matter fleet glided into the stars, leaving behind a fortress once thought untouchable. Its fall marked a new era where courage, intelligence, and determination ruled over fear and oppression. The galaxy would never be the same again. The galaxy was quiet, but it was a quiet born of change. Varion, once the fortress of the Galactic Council, now belonged to humanity. The outer sectors no longer trembled at the name of the Council alone. Humanity had shown that courage, intelligence, and unity could reshape the fate of entire worlds. Commander Niall stood on the observation deck of the flagship Aegis, staring at the stars that stretched infinitely before him. Beside him, Mara watched silently. The human fleet hovered in orbit around Varion, their dark hulls gleaming against the void. They will rebuild, Mara said. The council will not disappear completely. They may try to recover their strength. Niall shook his head. They may try, but the galaxy has changed. Every world has seen what humans can do. We do not conquer for greed. We defend for survival and justice. That is a power no empire can suppress. On Earth, celebrations were quiet but proud. Citizens did not shout in the streets or claim glory. Instead, they prepared for the future. Schools and universities taught the lessons learned from these battles. Scientists studied dark matter technology carefully, sharing knowledge openly. Engineers worked on improvements for the fleet. Humanity understood that strength came not just from victory but from readiness, unity, and responsibility. In the captured halls of Varion, the council delegates had begun to understand humanity's philosophy. They were no longer merely subjects of fear, they were witnesses to a new order. These humans, Arkan said softly, they do not seek domination. They seek protection, understanding, and balance. They fight not for conquest but for what is right. Humanity reached out to the galaxy with messages of peace and cooperation. Traders resumed commerce, scientists shared discoveries, and leaders offered guidance. Planets that had once suffered under the Council's strict control now spoke freely. Some sent emissaries to Earth, seeking partnership and friendship. Niall gathered his crew on the Aegis. Today we celebrate not destruction but achievement. We have defended Orion, captured Varion, and shown the galaxy what humans can do. But our work continues. Every star system is now a place where we can inspire courage, wisdom, and cooperation. This is the new dawn. Mara nodded. We have made enemies, but we have also made friends. We have shown that humanity can face impossible odds and still stand tall. That is what will define us for generations. Across the galaxy, fleets that once followed the Council now paused. Small systems, free of fear, began to choose alliances based on respect and trust rather than intimidation. Humanity's reputation spread not through conquest, but through acts of strategy, precision, and intelligence. They had proven that even the smallest numbers, if guided by unity and courage, could change history. In the skies above Earth, the human fleet returned from its missions. Ships glided through the atmosphere, casting reflections across oceans and continents. Children gazed at the stars, imagining the possibilities. Scientists dreamed of new discoveries. Leaders planned the next steps with care. Humanity had not only survived but had emerged as a force capable of shaping the destiny of the galaxy. On the Aegis, Niall turned to Mara. We have defended our home, yes. But more importantly, we have shown the galaxy the meaning of human strength. It is not in weapons alone. It is in thought, courage, and the will to protect what we value. Mara smiled. They will remember this day forever. Earth is no longer just a world. It is a symbol. A symbol that even in the face of the greatest power, humans can endure and rise. Far from Earth, across countless star systems, other species began to act differently. They no longer obeyed orders blindly. They asked questions, they explored options, and they sought alliances based on trust and respect. Humanity's actions had inspired change. The galaxy was learning that power could be wielded wisely, not merely through fear. On Varion, the human fleet remained vigilant, but it did not dominate. Engineers repaired systems, scientists examined energy patterns, and diplomats invited discussions with delegates. Humans had conquered neither people nor land in the old sense. They had conquered understanding. They had proven that intelligence and courage were mightier than threats. Niall stood on the observation deck once more, looking at a distant star cluster. The Council is weakened, yes. But the true victory is in how the galaxy will now think. Humanity has changed the rules of power. We do not impose. We defend. We guide. That is our legacy. Mara watched the stars shimmer. and it is only the beginning. The galaxy will continue to challenge us, but we will continue to rise. Humans endure, humans adapt, and humans inspire. As the fleets glided through the stars, Earth looked on proudly. Its children played beneath blue skies, unaware of every detail of the battles fought above. Yet the world knew one truth: the galaxy had seen humanity's courage, and no one would ever doubt it again. Humanity had not only won battles. Humanity had won respect, friendship, and a place among the stars. It was a new dawn, one that promised hope, unity, and courage for every being in the galaxy. The stars no longer seemed distant. They belonged, in some way, to those who dared to protect, to think, and to rise. And humanity had done all three.